The exhaust for the bobber is here. And it's time to install it. I am not gonna time lapse this. I'm just gonna do it and check in as I go each time. But it's pretty straightforward. They don't give you direction. Well, no, they don't give you directions. I'm a little annoyed at the fact that there's no there's no directions. There's no, not that I need them. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I just like when I get I always like that when the companies, you know, go out of their way to make it as easy as possible for the person that's installing it. This is it's called Mass. The company Massmoto. They're based out of Italy, I think, somewhere over in Italy. It took 2 months maybe to get this. It's custom. They're custom hand welded exhausts. They're actually a lot larger in diameter here than the stock pipes. Like if you look at this next to that, it's a lot bigger. This is the normal size, and then it gets wider here and then comes out bigger. And these are the short ones they offer, so they have longer ones. So these ones stop like right here somewhere. They have one that comes back here. I think the shorter ones look better. But yeah, the company, they're called Massmoto, I think, if you want to look them up. The exhaust was like $1,200, I think. My dad paid for it for his bike. But yeah, it looks nice. It should go on pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. So this deletes the cat, this big hunk of metal that sits down here, and it becomes this single to connect each side here and there. They also give you this little bracket. So like, this is what I'm saying, like if there were directions, it would tell you what this is for. This was just it was a huge box. This was just in there. I don't know, maybe online they have like a thing for it. I didn't look. I probably should, but I'm assuming this is for the kickstand because the way the kickstand sits on this, there's like this curve right here, which is where the old exhaust went when it comes through, and the new one's wider, so the exhaust hits it. So I'm assuming that bracket, it has the 2 bolts. I think you take this part off and you can lower this to give you more clearance. So it would come, you know, down like a 1/2 inch maybe. It's really all you need. And then it shouldn't be an issue. It's that there's 2 clamps underneath. You have your 2 bolts here for the header pipe connection, and then this one bracket back here, and that's it. That's pretty much it. These are probably going to be really loud. They have DB killers in them right now, but it's 1 screw and they come out, so I don't know how loud it's going to be with them in, but I know with them out it'll be really loud. But we will definitely take those out and test it out because I'm curious to see what it sounds like. And the only other thing is the O2 sensors on either side. So I'm gonna get started on this and I will check in as I go along, so stay tuned. So first thing I did is this kickstand part because I was curious about it. You take this is like the part that sticks out where you can catch your foot on it to kick it down, because it's almost impossible to get to that with it goes behind the exhaust. So this normally sits like that. I don't know if you can see that. So they give you this bracket, so you put that on the back with the screws and washers they provide, and now you put this here and it drops it down like a 1/2 inch. So that should be the difference needed for the new exhaust that's going on. So So I'm gonna put that on, and then I guess I'll do this side first. So let's start with that. Okay, so that's on and lowered. This stand is hitting right now, but when it's up, the whole thing is now dropped. So now I'm gonna start with this side, and it should go pretty quick. The only thing I would suggest for anyone doing this, where did I put it? This O2 sensor I tucked up here, but it comes down this way and goes in right here. I like to put a little anti-seize on those threads because sometimes they are really hard to get off if you don't. And if you're able to unplug it, sometimes it's really hard to get to, but if it's not, I would unplug it if you can. If you can't, take it and twist it reverse thread, you know, a couple times. Obviously don't crank on it and risk damaging the wires, but twist it back enough so that when you get it in and start threading it, you're factoring in the twisting for the threads, because you don't want to like tighten it and kink the wires up and risk damaging one of them, because that won't be good. So that's the only thing I would say is like tricky, really, is getting that in without hurting the wires. So let me get started on that. Stay tuned. Okay, I have everything loosely fitted on right now. It looks sweet. There is, like I said, there's one bolt here on the back bracket, the two up here. I put anti-seize on those, O2 sensors, and then there's the crossbar underneath with the two clamps. So nothing's tight yet because I want to make sure everything's sitting exactly where I want it, and then I'll start tightening stuff. I will probably start from up here because this is the most important connection. Make sure that's tight on both sides, and then work my way down to those clamps and then the brackets in the back. And then after that, I think I might put the new foot pegs on, but let me do this first, so see how it goes. Okay, so I last left off, I had to stop because I ran into an issue with the foot pegs, but I did get the exhaust hooked up, everything's tightened down, and it looks amazing. Obviously I can't start it yet, but I'm hoping tomorrow to get the tank and everything back from paint, so then I could put it all back together and fire it up. The issue with the foot pegs is, so I will say, I got these, where are they? These foot pegs right here, these big ones. They look sweet. I got them from Revzilla. I like Revzilla. They have, you know, they have a ton of parts. They have a lot of stuff, but you have to be careful because sometimes, you know, you put your bike in and then they show you everything that, you know, fits your bike. And then you order stuff from there and then it doesn't fit your bike the right way, or it's missing a part, and you should always look when you're ordering, like if you scroll down, it'll tell you like what people also bought with that part, and that always happens with foot pegs. Like on this, the scrambler pegs, this piece is a separate order from this piece, the actual peg. But that's not the case with these. They physically just don't fit. So on these, there's the piece that goes in between the mount, this piece. On these, it's the same shape, but they are like a 1/4 inch too big. Like they just don't fit the bike. So the fact that Revzilla puts those on this category, when you put this bike in, year, make, model, you put it in, you go to pegs, they say those fit it, they don't fit it. So I'm probably gonna return those or sell them or keep them, and maybe they'll get used somewhere else. So I just ordered new pegs through Triumph that do fit because they're from the dealer. They were a little more money. but I actually like them more than those because they're not as big. These are like, if you like compare this to, they're kind of ugly too, to be honest, but that's like a lot wider than this. So these are gonna go away. Got new ones coming. These aren't gonna get used. So I'm leaving off with that for this video, which was just the exhaust install, but I'm also gonna, I didn't time lapse any of that. I'm gonna time lapse and do a full install video on the clip-ons. So I went to the Triumph dealer today and I got these clip-ons through Triumph, so they will fit. It comes with new clutch cable and brake line because these ones are going to be too long now to fit because now the bars are going to be down here. So the new ones are shorter, and you get all the hardware you need for that. So, and then actually there's really good instructions. Triumph has a website called triumphinstructions.com, and for almost all their aftermarket parts, you can there's full instructions with pictures and torque specs and where to use certain, anti-seize or Loctite. It tells you all that. So I'm going to do a full video just on the clip-ons. I'll do a video on the fender eliminator. I'll probably combine this with some other stuff because this won't take as long. So it's going to be foot pegs, fender eliminator, and then we have a new gas cap that's black. And then we're gonna use this white paint marker and this acetones to clean the wheel. We're gonna paint the lettering on the tires so it pops a little more. It's gonna look good. And then I have a new filter, and we're gonna do oil change because it's due for one. So I'm gonna do an oil change. So I'll do a video probably showing like the oil change. I may not even show the oil change because it's kind of, I don't know, if people want to comment and let me know if they want to see that, I'll show it. But I think it takes like almost 4 quarts. It's like 3.8, 3.9 quarts. And you can find all those specs online. But it's 10W50. I'm using liquid moly. I use that on the Scrambler too. I didn't use it on the Monster. I wish I did because this is a lot better than the stuff I used on the Monster, but it's more expensive. So yeah, that's where this is going to be left off, and then we will dive into the clip-ons next. And I'm hoping to have this all back together, in the next week or two and back on the road. The last thing we will be waiting on is my dad just took the old seat. So this is the aftermarket seat that we bought through Triumph. He just took the stock seat that comes on the bike. It's the same seat, but it's just like smooth leather. There's no diamond stitching. We're gonna get that reupholstered, I think, with Alcantara and do the diamond stitching like this. But we want the stitching to be like a, I don't want to say the color yet because it's kind of a surprise, but it's going to kind of match the color of the bike so it sticks out more, and then we'll go from there. So if you liked this, please subscribe and like the video, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.